the energy transition that we in Portugal started some 30 years ago, and we now have around 60% of our energy coming from renewable energies. Actually, because of the weather, here is very nice in Portugal, not so. For the last week, we've been living exclusively out of renewable energies. It's been raining, it's been windy, and actually we are selling energy to Spain, which is something that is not common on our economic structure, to sell energy abroad, but the bet that we did in renewable energies, it's paying off. And I know that Moldova is also very much in tune and keen to make that transition, and Portuguese businesses will be more than happy and capable to support and to help. The digital transition is yet another question. One of the advantages of being a member of government is that you get to talk with people who actually know what they're doing. And every time I go to a university or a research center, I try to speak with the people who are in the front line of research and innovation. And I always ask the same question when I'm talking with people working on digitalization or robotics or those areas. I always ask, I have an idea of what sort of jobs will be destroyed by this new economy that you are building. Could you please tell me what sort of jobs will be created? And the answer is always the same. It's going to be wonderful, because people who change the world are by definition optimistic. It's going to be wonderful, but we only know about 30% of the jobs that are going to be created. The other 70% we will see as we go along. It's very difficult for someone in public life, or in a university, or in a business, to organize our future not knowing where we go into. It's very difficult for me to, in the Portuguese government, to have public policies when we only know 30% of the sort of jobs we're going to have in the future. It's very difficult for the rector of a university to organize the curriculum that students should study and prepare. It's very difficult for you as business people to organize your businesses around this level of uncertainty and trying to guess the unknown. But we need to do it, because in reality it is what it is, and we need to make those changes. So we need to work together. We need to bring governments, business, civil society organizations, universities, foundations, international organizations. We all need to sit around the table and have this conversation of how are we going to organize our business, our universities, our public policies, our societies in this new world that it's there, and there's no point in denying or pretending that it's not there. It is there, it's coming, it's already here, and we need to work together to organize that. Business are a fundamental part of this equation, and business are looking, as always, for business opportunities, for good opportunities, good jobs, good investments, good strategies, good places to invest their resources, to put their staff to look at new opportunities. And Moldova has a lot to offer. But business are also always looking for the risk assessment. How much it will cost, what is the return, what is the level of risk that I will face if I take this other opportunity, if I go for that particular chance or country. So we need to be able, as governments and as business development agencies, we need to be able to minimize the risk assessment and minimize the risk of the business that we want to attract to our countries, and to help the businesses that we want to attract to our countries to choose the opportunities that we have in our business. So we need to create the right business climate. We need to make sure that the opportunities are as they are, and to facilitate as much as possible and within the limits and the legislation, the opportunities that business will take to create new jobs, to make new investments, to create new wealth, to pay salaries, to pay taxes that in Portugal I spend rapidly, and here the government of Moldova will also happily spend. But we need to make sure that we find the balance between what are the needs of the country, what are the needs of the businesses, and how can we have this conversation facing the digital transition and the energy transition. In Portugal, we launched very recently, on the end of September, our national strategy to support SMEs in their sustainability path, our ESG strategy for exporting SMEs. It is a combined effort between the government, business associations, universities, research centers, civil society organizations and others, to help our small and medium companies to be able to make the transition and report the transition to the market. Because the market is now becoming much more demanding. The market is imposing by law, in the case of the European Union, and by advice in case of the UN or the OECD, a number of transformations for business in terms of environmental sustainability, social responsibility, and good governance. The market is imposing on the financial system a number of restrictions on the sort of financing that are available to companies, and the risk assessment that the financial system makes of projects and businesses include now their impact on environment and social consequences of those businesses. Talent is becoming much more demanding on what companies they're going to work for, and if you want to attract the right people to work in your companies, you need to have a purpose and to have those sorts of concerns. And even the clients, the generation that now is coming to the market, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds, are much more concerned about the sorts of goods and products that they use, where does it come from, how is it produced, what is the environmental impact of this or that. So even if businesses are not yet there, even if small and medium companies think that environmental sustainability, social responsibility are not for them, it's for the big companies. That is not true anymore. If you are a supplier, or if you want to become part of the supply chain of a corporation, that corporation will have to know what you are doing, so they can report to the market that they are sustainable. And if you are not sustainable, your clients are not sustainable. So you need to make this transition. We will be obviously very happy to share with our counterpart here in Moldova our strategy and what we've learned from designing the strategy. And we will be very happy to support the Portuguese businesses, and I see some of them here that came to take part in this meeting, in their considerations over the Moldovan opportunities, as well as welcoming Moldova now in Portugal for the Web Summit and other opportunities. I had the pleasure of welcoming Her Excellency, the Moldovan President, in Portugal 3 short weeks ago. And as our presidents are becoming very good friends, 3 short weeks later, here we are to carry on our conversations and now to involve the private sector in these conversations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. State Secretary. Portugal is an important partner for Republic of Moldova. We have amount to 23 million USD dollars in these years, the foreign trade value between our 2 countries. And I think we have 3 sectors to make collaboration in this field. First is agriculture and tourism, because we have a good experience and tourism and the wine industry, and we need to involve. But also we have good talents in Moldova and good agriculture infrastructure, and the company from Portuguese need to discover this field. Also, secondly, I think it's IT and R&D, because Moldova have a good IT park, and my colleague will describe this opportunity, and we need to collaborate closely in this domain. And you make a bullet point on energy or eco-energy and reconstruction. We need to work closely to take some good efforts to involve in eventual reconstruction of Ukraine. Thank you for your speech, and I would like to open next step. It's the economic potential of Republic of Moldova and Portugal, and we would like to invite my colleague, Mrs. Cristina Pucarino. Let's start with this panel. We make the change on this field to be.
So good morning. I'm really absolutely delighted to be here, and this was very unexpected about a month ago. I would say it all started with when your president officially visited Portugal around 3 weeks ago, and she was very keen to organize a meeting with Portuguese business community. We did organize that at ISEP, and this was very successful. This was attended by the presidents of both countries, and we then decided to have a very quick follow-up, negotiating with Invest Moldova, so our counterpart in Moldova, a memorandum of understanding for us to cooperate further and to find the right framework to develop our bilateral relationship. And here we are. So this was really a very quick follow-up, and I'm very grateful to Invest Moldova to having set up so quickly this event, and for hosting us today with so much professionalism. I would like to say it's a brief presentation, but actually it's not so brief. I will move a bit quick through the presentation, but of course you may ask and stop me at a point if you like. But basically it is focused on the country environment and economic situation in Portugal. I think it is very important that we get to know each other better. And although Portugal and Moldova have so many compatibilities, let's say so, we almost understand each other because the language is so much and has so much in common. Portugal is very acquainted with Moldova in a sense because we have a very large Moldovan community living in Portugal, very well integrated, and they are so totally merged in our society that they are just like some of us, and this is truly wonderful. And then both countries also have something in common in Moldova as well as in Portugal. Wine is not just a drink, it's also part of our culture. And this is very extraordinary. I found also There are many common interests, and I would like to explore some of those by starting by giving you a picture of where we are in Portugal, where we stand, what are the potentialities and the sectors that are of our common interest that we should further explore. But how do I move the... Yeah. So, that's here,
It's
right?
there. No, yes, just like this. Yeah.
Okay, good. So these are the main blocks. So the country, environment, economic situation, and where we are regarding our bilateral relationship. And you will see that is still quite modest, which means that we have a huge potential to develop. And then I will focus on 3 sectors of cooperation. And while I will see what the sectors are, but this is just a sample because there are other sectors we do recognize potential to cooperate. And then I will let you know what ISEP, so that's the Investment and External Trade Agency, can support you. So, Portugal, you know everything about our strategic location, well, how important it is to be an EU member, and, well, Moldova has a very clear European perspective by now, and that's also a reason for interest, not only for Portugal, but for many other countries, definitely. Well, we have the euro currency. You are also, like we are UN members. But there's a point. Portugal is the closest European country to US and Canada. We have very close relationship with Brazil, Angola, Mozambique, because these are Portuguese-speaking countries. But not only. Actually, we have very good, and even in terms of economic relation with many other countries in North and South America, but also in Africa. That's not only with Portuguese speaking countries. Well, and we enjoy stability. Stability is always very important for doing business. Political stability, economical stability, fiscal, financial stability. So there are some indexes here on the right side. The Secretary of State was just speaking about how important is the risk assessment when you're doing business anywhere, and Portugal is a very low risk country. So, regarding macroeconomics, well, we all had some hard times with Ukrainian war, inflation, this all very recently, everyone has been hit, but well, GDP growth is going quite well, so we grew 6.8% in last year, and the forecast for this year is again above the EU average. Exports, we have had an extraordinary growth in 2022, so 17.4%, which was huge. The forecast for this year, it's a bit more modest, but still very well above the average of the European Union. Unemployment rate is higher than in Slovenia, but it's still, well, it's in the average of the EU. That's something that we expect to lower in coming years. And inflation, so it's finally start to give signs that's going lower, which is, of course, very, very important. Let's move on. And regarding our export markets of goods and services, you see on the left column our top clients. So not only in Europe, although the first ones are in Europe, and last year, as you see, our total exports amounted to about 120 million euros, and about 65% of it went to the European Union and 35% to third countries, including, you see on the top 10, Angola, for instance. But our top export markets are consistently European neighbors, such as Spain and France and Germany. And outside the EU, well, UK is a very relevant partner, which until very recently was also an EU country. It's no longer the case. And we mainly export, you can see here what, so that's tourism, machinery, appliances, motor vehicles, transport, but that's a very, very diverse economy. So regarding country environment and economic situation, so in terms of flows of direct foreign investment into Portugal, we registered a total of 8 billion euros invested in Portugal last year. And the total stock of FDI was close to 170 billion euros by the end of 2022. The top countries investing in Portugal are, as you see there, Spain, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, France, UK, and some the following ones with a smaller share. Regarding the Portuguese foreign investments, we invested 2.5 billion euros in 2022. The stock of investment, so the total stock of Portuguese investment, it's about 61 billion euros by the end of last year. And again, main destinations, it's Spain and Netherlands, Angola, Brazil, Mozambique, and the other ones with a smaller share. Well, what are the competitive advantages of Portugal? And here I would say we have something in common with Moldova, talent. Moldova has talent and skilled people, so Portugal has talented and skilled people, and this is a very important pillar for economic development in any country. And investing in talent and human capital has been really a priority for Portuguese governments. We are positioned in 16 when it comes to graduates in sciences and in masters in business administration. And on the 18th position on digital skills, 10th with the most language skills in the world. So we move on, still on talent. There's this very interesting detail regarding engineering graduates. Portugal has the third highest rank of engineering graduates in Europe, and 6 Portuguese universities are among the best in the world in areas such as finance. So we do attract many foreigner students from all over the world, not only in Europe, to study Portugal in this area of finance, business, mainly finance and business, law, not that much. So innovation. So Portugal is an innovative country. And we are proud really to be one of those ranking high and rapidly evolving into a hub for innovation and technology. We have a huge number of startups, research institutions, and very good workforce. As you can see, this is having all these unicorns And you know, your unicorn it's a business that has more than 1 billion euros. So all these have Portuguese DNA. Well, is this the correct one? Yeah. I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, this is another one of our competitive advantages, our infrastructure. We have an excellent infrastructure system, both in transports but in logistics as well. A very good network of roads, airport connectivities, and seaport services in terms of efficiency are also quite good. And in fields as broadband and connectivity, as we are a very well connected country with ultra-fast fixed broadband. So this is also an asset. A country that has ambitions must really develop. Global recognition. Well, Portugal is also very well placed in FDI rankings in the world. According to OECD, it is the second most open country for FDI and the sixth top destination for FDI in Europe. And this is coming because of all the factors that I've mentioned before. So good infrastructure, stability, political one, fiscal, financial, talent and infrastructure. So these are all very important factors for this global recognition. And that's something you have to build up with time and in a very consistent manner. Well, foreign investments, and here are some of the investments from companies such as you see them there, Siemens, Airbus, and others. And also a small sample of important mergers and acquisitions between Portuguese companies and foreign economic groups from Japan and South Korea, Germany, and France. It's just a sample, of course. So moving on. Moving on to the tech sector, well, there is a sample of companies that have chosen Portugal to base their operations, such as Volkswagen, BMW Critical, TechWorks, or Nokia 5G and 6G Development Center in Lisbon. So now a quick overview on the bilateral economic relationship between Portugal and Moldova. So here I would say are the main figures. Portugal and Moldova trade relationship apply only to the exchange of goods. We have no records of exchange in services, neither on investment. And in the last 5 years, trade in goods between Portugal and Moldova has been increasing. Between 2018 and 22, we had an annual growth of 36%, which is very positive. And we registered in our exports an annual increase of 43%. Last year, there were 107 Portuguese companies exporting to Moldova, about 17.2 million euros in specific products, so leather, machines and equipment, wood and cork, textiles and chemical products. And Portugal imports from Moldova were about 26.3 million. So again, there was an increase and a trend, a very clear trend of increasing. So the main products were agricultural ones. But I think, as you can see here, these figures tell us a very clear message. There's a huge potential to increase, and we have to increase. We're departing from a very small basis, so we can only do better. So we move on to sectors of cooperation between our countries. And here are some, but I've been taking notes of those who have been more frequently mentioned, which is energy transition and construction, engineering, ICT, agri-food industry, and of course there's this last one, cooperation in the future, Ukraine reconstruction. That's something we are keeping definitely on the table to consider in the future. We have to move, sorry. So, renewables. So there's a little, some figures, but this clearly demonstrates that Portugal had already a very long journey in interest in energy conversion from fossil fuels to renewables. Nowadays, well, 65% of all electricity produced in Portugal comes from renewables. 49% is the same, is the share of renewable energy sources in Portugal's electricity mix. Nowadays, a part comes from wind power, from hydropower, biomass, and a smaller share from solar power. Here an overview on solar energy and where solar farms are located, and you see a very clear trend of in the evolution of electricity generation from solar energy. This is the wind energy, more focused in the north of the country where the conditions are ideal, but still, you know, you see from the year 2000 we really started investing hugely on wind energy. And hydrogen, you know, there are three huge projects coming in three different coastal locations in Portugal. Beginning the first of one in Sines, the beginning is expected early next year. Construction, so main markets turnover, which is huge. Portugal has huge companies working, having projects worldwide on infrastructure and engineering, and so it represents about 31 billion euros of total turnout. And it accounts for about 11% of our exports. These are the main companies in the sector of construction and engineering. And these are some projects, very big ones, they are engaged with. So IT, this is another sector we really can cooperate with Moldova. So here are some figures and some information that we may quickly read. I was told that I have to move faster, so. And IT, This is also a very relevant economic sector for the Portuguese economy, and Portugal has achieved very good results. So with a turnover in 21 of 23,019 million. So, in the startup ecosystem, we have, I'll move on, so we have 2,050 startups. In 2002, Portugal is considered to be the 12th most innovative EU country. Move on. So here are those unicorns with the Portuguese DNA. And just a final word on what kind of support can ICEP provide. And we can help to achieve good results, to have our business communities contributing really to give more economic content to our bilateral relationship. ICEP core business is to fund and to attract foreign investments, to promote the image of Portugal in foreign markets, and to support the internationalization processes of Portuguese business. But we do provide very tailored information on when, from day one of an investment to the end, we support companies on a different, very different but tailored services. We connect critical stakeholders, including public administration, utility suppliers, service providers. We help in licensing procedures, turning them easier, and even in visa procedures, we support on that. So ICEP is really a one-stop shop agency when it comes to business. This memorandum of understanding we will be signing later today, it's really a solid step to enhance investment and trade between Portugal and Moldova. So it is meant to facilitate our economic cooperation and direct contacts between our business communities. I would love to let you know more about this memorandum and how we plan to have it implemented, but I understand I have to give the floor to my colleague, and I will finish here. Thank you so much for your attention.
Hello, please allow to express my gratitude to Madame Bucarino for your presentation. I will be, I think, we are running out of time because we have a very strict schedule. We have today keynote speakers, Madame President of Republic of Moldova, Mr. President of Portuguese Republic. So that's why I think my presentation will be very fast. But I will try somehow to adjust my presentation to the slides that Madame Bucarino have shown. What are the economic sectors and the fields where we can collaborate? And second, what is the offer of Republic of Moldova in terms of investment, the investment offer of our country? First of all, some key facts about our country is 2.6 population. Also, we are EU candidate member since July 2022. That's an important step for our country. and also that needs a lot of reforms in our country that have started. We are harmonizing our legislation, and we are trying to keep the train, the European one. Also, we are very connected with direct flights with a lot of countries and cities. During the peace period, let's say, we have more than 350 flights per week in different capitals all over the world, mainly with European Union, and of course people and talent. We are a very talented country. We have people who speak several languages, so you can find here people who speak Romanian, Russian, Ukrainian, English, and of course we have a small part of our country that fully speaks Turkish language. Regarding the key indicators are a little bit different because the war, the pandemic have changed a lot, but I put by purpose the employment rate in our country is 51%. Later I will explain more to the business delegates from Portugal what means this 51% and how much affordable workforce we had in our country. First is our geographical position. This is one of our main attractiveness. We have signed free trade agreements with 47 countries, and the company that operates in the Republic of Moldova have an access to a market of 1 billion customers. Regarding our trades, these are top 10 partners of the Republic of Moldova: Romania, Ukraine, Italy, Turkey, top 5. You can see on the slide top 10 for 2022. Of course, Romania, as our neighbors, it's among the most important partners. Also, we are using their logistics in order to re-export to European Union. Imports, again, our neighbors, Romania, and also you can see the Russia, China, Ukraine, Turkey. Russia, because of the prices of the energy, gas and fuel have increased in 2022. That's why they somehow climbed in the positions. FDI stock for the last 3 years is 1 billion. 83% of them comes from European Union. We already launched several projects last week, one from UK, one from Germany, both in production. And by the way, also we are collaborating with EBRD and IFC with each foreign investor that is coming. Also EBRD is today with us. They will explain more what is the offer from their side for international companies. These are somehow some companies that have been launched their activities in our country. I will say that in terms of FDI, the top 3 sectors in the last are retail, financial sector, and production sector. One very proud activity that we are doing as a country is the digitalization. So we have reduced the number of documents, the permissive documents. It's going day by day, a lot of debureaucratization of the permissive documents, ease of doing business. By the way, we were 13 in the world, so exceeding such countries as Hungary, Greece, Romania, so it's really easy to open a business, but we'll try with the business delegates that are from Portugal. Operational costs. Investment-friendly fiscal system, 0 corporate income tax if company is a free economic zone member, 12 if it's in a general regime, social 24, VAT 20, and for several economic sectors the VAT have a special rate. We have 6 free economic zones, not 7, that's my mistake. It's OTAC is not anymore a free economic zone, but it's all over our territory. We have 34 subzones, and incentives 0 VAT, 0 excise duties, and 0 corporate income tax if the company invests in more than $1 million. That's an average cost of the labor cost, but I will, due to the time, I will skip some presentation. When we are talking about the strategic sectors of our country, we have somehow divided in 3 different groups. So we serve in providing sector that consists of ICT, BPO, shared service center, creative industries. We have industrial production, is electronics, automotive, TAFL. We have emerging sectors such as renewable energy, waste management, and of course our traditional sector, agri-food, where we need a lot of investment in the food processing activities. And one of the most important economic sectors in the last years are the ICT. We managed to export already more IT services than wine in the last years, but because of several reasons. First of all is infrastructure, fully coverage of 4G and fiber optic of our country. We have strategic framework, low on IT park, we have dedicated IT visa, we have a workforce, we have a university who generates more than 1,000 apprentices per year, and of course we have a dedicated offer, 7% single tax for the companies that register the business in our country. And of course we generate more than 1,500 active residents, 216 foreign capital companies from all over the world. By the way, we don't have any company from Portugal. That's, I think, a mistake that we should somehow adjust. Yeah, it's 38 countries and Portugal is not among all them. Other sector is automotive and the electronic sector. We used to be an important player in the past in electronic sector. This is the map of the companies that operate in the field. They are exported to the main OEMs. We have big names in the field such as Lear Corporation, Fujikura, Gebauer, Draxler, who exports their goods to European Union. And agri-food, that's 8% of GDP. And the two main activities is wine and viticulture and fruits and vegetables. Of course, about wine we can discuss together a lot. That's a very important sector for both countries, for you and for us. So we are somehow like California, Portugal, Moldova, and California. They have wine and technologies. That's somehow we would like to promote our country. I think you as well. Because we have very good wine, very nice weather, very good food, and of course we would like to be a country that attracts a lot of investments in ICT, R&D, and technologies. Yeah, I believe this is for 2022. It's a small decrease because of logistics problems during the war, but the only country I think with a growth is Czech Republic. And yeah, Romania is the main partner. We are, by the way, the #1, the highest density of vineyards in the world, and of course 2022 have bring us the gold medal for the best red wine in the world. This is our presentation. We already have met all the businesses. We are working together with Portugal, and we are proudly to announce that we, as an agency, we are covering also trade, that we will start to communicate how to promote on both sides the trade from Portugal and from Moldova. Second, we also are a one-stop shop. We are helping all the companies that are coming to the Republic of Moldova to invest here, to facilitate, to put in the contours the main partners and the companies here. And also we will have a dedicated team for aftercare that I already to the Greenwald company told them that soon we will start to help them to open their branch here. So if you have any other question, I will be more than happy to answer during the networking. But now I think we'll start the next part of our forum. We'll have a short round of presentation. First I will invite Ms. Pucarinho to the scene of the Portuguese business, and then I will invite our part of the delegation. Thank you.
So we are running short of time, and we're very happy to have four business representatives of Portuguese companies, and I would like to call them to introduce themselves. So that's Greenvolt Romania, Mr. Damian Rodrigues, please. He's not here? Oh, he is, yes. Please. And Mr. Filipe Ruivo, please, that's from Pragoz, Romania, that's constructions. I didn't mention, but Greenvolt is energy, photovoltaic, so green energy. Solar Realize, Mr. Belmiro Couto, please. So that's a company based in Romania, so came all the way from Romania to be with us today, and that's also from energy sector. And Ascensa. And Mr. Antonio Souza, please. So I will kindly ask you to introduce yourselves and your business in the region, your prospects regarding interests regarding the market of Moldova. Thank you, and thank you for joining us.
Okay.
Yes, hello. My name is Damian Rodriguez. I am the International Business Director at Greenvolt. Greenvolt is a very young company, is 2 years and a half, is in the stock exchange of Lisbon. The market cap is around 900 million euros. And our intention is to explore this market as an expansion of our activity. Basically, we are trying to achieve wind, let's say, to develop a wind farm here of around 200 megawatts. That means like 220 million euros. Yes.
Bună ziua. Good morning. My name is Antonio Souza. I'm the country head of Ascensa for the East Balkans area. So I'm based in Bucharest on our office. We are a company with a Portuguese company operating on the agricultural inputs. So basically we are a crop protection producer and also a fertilizer with the other division inside the group. And we start last year to register our products here in Moldova. And we start doing a small business that we intend to grow. Ascensa is market leader in Portugal, so we are for more than 65 years helping Portuguese farmers and Spanish farmers as well to produce quality wines. And we expect soon to be working together with the Moldovan producers to improve also their to have, let's say, even a better wine.
Bună ziua, bom dia. We are Solar Realize part of the shareholders affiliated companies of Group Martifer, with Metallic Constructions and Renewable Energies. Here in Moldova, we are quite happy to have some local partners with whom we are in initial investment of a solar photovoltaic park in the zone. So in 1 year we experienced the opportunities. Really, Moldova has great opportunities for economical development. Also, we faced the first difficulties, the context difficulties that we have to solve, and we hope the international agency is here also to help. But we are happy to see that the Moldovan economy is bringing itself to the European Union community with the same rules, with the same transparency, with the same opportunities for all the investment that we can foresee in the country. So we are happy. We started our first investment 1 year ago together with our partner, which is also binational, is one of the binationals our Secretary of State, Madame Pucarinho mentioned. So we are quite happy to be in Moldova, and we hope to develop more business.
Hello, my name is Filipe Ruivo. I am administrator of Privesc Romania. That is a Romanian company from Privesc Group, a construction company. Our main activity is roads construction. We also have some producing of asphalt, concrete, and aggregates. We also do works like sewage and urban parks. And in this moment in Romania, our turnover is almost 20 million of euro. We employ 200 people. And yeah, is my second time in Moldova. And we are interested and open to any kind of business opportunity. It doesn't matter if it's private or public, and in our domains. Thank you. Vă mulțumesc.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's really, I think I will sit also. That's really nice to, I will forget one name definitely. Last time in also at the business forum, I forgot one name, and that's why I always keep my notebook. Yeah, thank you very much, the delegates. Some of them I already meet, and that will be very interesting for us as an agency to meet you at the networking part. We'd like to help you to meet the relevant partners during your stay here, but also as a follow-up of this forum, as Madame Pucarina said, that it's only a start. It was a really fast organization for this wonderful forum, but I do believe that's only the start of our fruitful collaboration between our two countries. Now we will go to the next panel. I will invite, first of all, with ladies first, as usual, Madame Katarina Björlin-Hansen, Country Director of European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, EBRD, as we know, as you want. Then I would like also to invite Alexandru Gozun, Head of PwC Moldova, and also the President of AmCham. And the last but not the least, Dumitru Lefter from Prograin Organic, that will, where is Dumitru? Yeah. The success story of one big investment in the agri-food industry. I will give the floor to Madame Katarina to explain what will be the offer of EBRD, especially in terms of request of the companies from renewable energy.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very pleased to be here, and it's nice to see so many people and such interest. First, congratulations to all the Moldovan and both the Moldovan and the Portuguese government for the long-standing cooperation with over 30 years of diplomatic relations. Both Portugal and Moldova are member countries, owners of EBRD, among the 71 shareholders that we do have. So we have a long-standing working relationship with both countries. In Moldova, we work in a number of sectors: renewable energy, just energy in general, sustainable infrastructure, financial institutions, which is commercial banks, industry, commerce, and agribusiness, as well as SME support. We work with both local investors and international investors alike. In Moldova, we have invested over 2 billion euros, and we are the largest institutional investor in the country. And right now, we have 65 active projects throughout the country, of which about 30% is in the private sector. We'd like to support the private sector, and we would like to do that even more than we have done in the past, which is the key mandate of ours. So we're very, very happy to speak with all investors here today. In the past, in Moldova, we invested about 100 million per year, but last year we had a record year due to very unusual circumstances with about 500 million of investments. This year, year to date, we have invested almost 300 million, and we are looking forward to signing another 100 million worth of investments towards the end of the year. So investments are really going well in the country. We also work on supporting reforms in the country, mainly through the Economic Council by the Prime Minister's Office, which is a platform for dialogue between public sector and private companies. It also has a unique capacity for improvements of the business climate. We're very, very happy to have this long-standing arrangement, both with private investors from the Moldovan side and from foreign investors. As just mentioned, Moldova has free economic zones where we do support international investors, and we're also pleased to work with the IT parks in the country. So there have been a number of foreign investors making bold movements in the past, and they are doing really well today, and we're very happy to see companies like Drexelmeier and Gebauer, which are clients of ours, as well as Kaufland, doing really well in the country. With Moldova's EU candidacy status, it's a very encouraging factor, and it's a key achievement for the government and for the citizens of the country, and we look forward to continue support Moldova's path towards the EU. It will require additional reforms, and we're standing by to support as required. One reform and one area which is very important to develop is the energy and resource efficiency. And this is a key sector with investment potential. We work a lot with development of renewable energy sources, supporting energy security, and anything to do with environmentally sustainable projects. We work with technical assistance to enable utility-scale auctions for wind and solar in the country, in the approximate size of 165 megawatts. So we are looking forward to these auctions being a reality next year, and we hope for great interest among developers. The aim of the government and EBRD in cooperation is to support the legal and regulatory framework for these auctions to make sure that the new investments attract reputable investors. This will in turn lead to competitive prices, which in turn leads to affordable end-user tariffs, which is of key importance in the country. So we look forward to launching these auctions within the near future. We also work a lot with cross-border integration, which is very important to improve the infrastructure, logistical competence, and other administrative processes. So how can we help you? We work with both loans and equity investments, and we can also work with mezzanine. We have a very flexible structure, so we can work with any size of investments from 1 million euros to 300 million in one project. We do cater the project terms to the need of a project, and we try to match the tenor of a loan to the life cycle of an asset. It's very difficult for me to say exactly the exact terms because they are really project specific. So if you do have projects in mind, please come and talk to us. And we will be very, very happy to cater to your needs. And also, a word of encouragement is very, very good to approach us when you're only starting to think about the project rather than coming with a ready project, because then we can help you all the way along when you structure and develop any ideas you may have. We look forward to speaking to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Katarina. That's true. We have a very fruitful collaboration with EBRD, and we have a lot of success stories, as you mentioned in the past. Now we'll pass the floor to Alexandru Guzun, head of Pricewaterhouse, as well as the president of AmCham. So you have two heads. So from this point of view, if you could highlight the collaboration between Moldova and Portugal and what our countries' key figures.
Thank you, Igor. And I was thinking that I will wear both hats today for this speech. And I actually have a few slides just to make this more visual. So, good morning, everyone. And it's really nice being here today with you. And when I was looking at the list of the attendees coming from Portugal today, I was thinking that this could be just the beginning of a larger group of companies being interested, and this is hence the messages which will be passed. It's not covering just a few industries, but rather a bilateral cooperation as I was seeing it. Where is this? Okay, so initially, in order to get a glimpse of what the Portuguese business is thinking about in terms of expectations of the CEOs. I turn to the CEO survey we are doing globally in PwC for some perspective on the EU first. And as you can see, the 2023 PwC Global CEO Survey shows that 37% of the EU CEOs doubt their business viability in the next 10 years on the current path, which is driven by the big 5 threats: inflation, conflict, macroeconomics, cyber risks, and climate. Now, when moving to Moldova, we have done our own CEO survey in September in AmCham Moldova, and here are the results, which are pretty, I'd say, interesting, related to the expectations of the Moldovan businesses' future economic development, both at the national level, but also in the industry and the company level. And it's the intriguing part is that you can see that while at the national level half are expecting a dip, while the other half predicts some growth, there is a sense of optimism too when we go to the industry level. And most business leaders are betting on stability or growth of their industry. And when it comes to their own businesses, 3/4 are gearing up for a better year next year, with plans to invest. 52% of our respondees are planning to further invest in the upcoming year. And when we speak about the respondees sample, it's large international, large national companies, and the SMEs present here in Moldova. So we are speaking about 100 CEOs view here, represented on this slide. And of course, not to be over-optimistic, of course, if you just Google Moldova, you might find the picture not necessarily very positive or appealing, but it also needs to be taken with a pinch of salt, I'd say, because for each of the concerns which you might find on the Google search, you'll also find some explanations of what's being done about addressing this. And the sentiment of the business I was talking about, coming from the AmCham community, is also confirming that there are positive movements in that direction. We have discussed the survey pretty recently with Mr. Minister of Economy sitting here in the room, and we feel that there is also a further dialogue ongoing on this. So as a business committee, I can confirm that the reforms, although there are still a lot of things to be done, they are moving towards a growth potential. Now, looking into what is concerning the Moldovan CEOs, Moldovan companies, but also international companies present here, we are seeing that geopolitical issues are on everyone's mind. Also struggle finding enough skilled workers, and inflation is hitting us too. But and quite a few are taking a wait-and-see approach when it comes to political and economic stability in Moldova as perception. But indeed, the macroeconomic side of things is somewhat confirming that sentiment. We can see that the economy has been hit by regional instability, but we are starting to bounce back, hopefully sufficiently enough in order to make it a good growth in the upcoming period. And as you can see on the slide, the services sector especially is doing well. Actually, while the overall trade balance is negative, the trade balance on the services is positive, which is showing its potential as a driver of the economic growth further on in the country. And it has seen a good growth in the last couple of years. Now, if we look at what is driving our service industry, it's mostly about IT and business services. And why? Because, well, in a very brief statement, because we are close to Europe, we got quite a few languages covered. We have relatively low costs, and our government is pretty supportive, especially when it comes to taxes and special incentives for some industries. And here is what we're talking when we're talking about taxes. I won't go into the details of the comparison between the tax regimes in Moldova and Portugal. I'll just let it here. The figures speak for themselves, I think. But one other thing I'll mention on this, which is relevant to be mentioned on this slide, is another survey we have run in AmCham in September for preparing for our tax conference, shows the perception of the predictability of policies. And here we see that the tax and customs policies are perceived to be rather predictable by the business community represented at AmCham. And when we talk about the adequacy of the tax level for business profitability, again, we can see that, well, majority is perceiving the tax burden as being adequate in order to ensure sufficiently profitable operations here in Moldova. Going further on, labor force, of course, human capital has been a pretty big talking topic as well, and we have over 20 universities, and we are aware that there is more demand than currently the supply is offering, and there is need to work on that. And as we are informed as a business community, the government is looking into that, into identifying the best options in order to decrease the human capital gap. But on the other hand, if you look at these figures, we can see also the potential of the human capital market here in Moldova. Okay, so what's the potential to grow the commercial ties then? We have heard in the previous presentations that there is potential. We have seen the figures related to the current commercial relationships between Portugal and Moldova. And of course, to me, it means that that's a lot to look forward to. We are both good in agriculture, one better, one not that better, but we can import technology related to agriculture. We can develop that in a synergetic manner. There is tech and innovation potential, cooperation on tech and innovation. We are having sectors just good to investment, like renewables and tourism, of course. And not to forget, and I think you've mentioned this, the potential of Moldovan business environment as a platform to a certain extent to contribute to Ukraine's rebuild and reconstruction in the post-war period. And I think now is the moment to think about that and to see how these opportunities could be explored further on. Okay, and if you will decide to join Moldovan business community, here is a bunch of business associations you might think of joining. And I will not suggest to join any of them to keep the competition in the appropriate manner, looking at Anna here from Foreign Investors Association. But of course, this means that we have a vibrant business community, which is working in Moldova, doing business, and looking forward to further develop in Moldova. And also environmentally responsible business community. So again, from the survey, you can see that we have 33% of our respondents investing in energy efficient technologies and looking into other sustainability issues. So sustainability is slowly but certainly becoming not a buzzword, but something on the level of a business pillar here in Moldova. And I think this is it. Thank you for listening, and I hope it was useful. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Alex. As usual, it's a brilliant presentation. Thank you very much for the figures. Now we'll invite Mr. Lefter. He represents Prograin Organic, one of the biggest companies in the organic agri-food and one of the biggest investment in the agri-food sector. Please.
Thanks a lot. Buenos dias. Good morning. So my name is Lefter Dumitru. I represent Prograin Organic. So I'm very happy to introduce our successful story to you. Prograin Organic, which operates in the field of cultivation, processing, storage, trading, export of organic products. So we export marketing organic products in whole Europe, Spain, France, Germany, Nordic states, Bulgaria, Romania, and we did not manage to export yet in Portugal, but we hope it will be possible after this. So, Progain Organic is the highest quality service and products provider here in Moldova in organic sector, and we was founded in 2015 by Progain Organic NL from Netherlands and Progain company from Moldova. Progain Organic NL from Netherlands with 30% and Progain Moldova 70%. So we start our project with 55 farmers here in Moldova with about 6,000 hectares who believe in the value of organic farming here and start to grow sustainability in agriculture in Moldova. So the integration of organic farmers started with the investment in infrastructure project. So in 2018, we finished our terminal in the international port Giurgiulești. And in 2019, we finished our facility in Florești city, where we provide services for our farmers. So for our farmers, we provide some services like input supply, monitoring and certification of lands, organic lands, I mean, ensuring of collecting and storage logistic, and help to export the grains from Moldova to EU countries. So I mentioned that we opened the new warehouse in Florești, is Class A energy sustainability. This year we installed photovoltaics 100 kilowatts. So, we are ready to provide for the farmers the new level of services like cleaning, peeling, calibration, photo separation, X-ray, CO2 treatments, storing the goods in big bags and to export these goods to EU country, as I told. So from 2022, Anders Invest International Food and Agri Holding is another company from Netherlands, become the majority founder of Progain Organic. So I would like to mention that now we have 95% foreign capital. So we're a company who work here in Moldova with 95% foreign capital. So our partners believe in the Moldova's company, so we grow very fast for the last years. So become the leader in this field and export to EU per year about 10,000, 12,000 of cereals and oil seeds. So it's about 6-7 million euro per year. It depends on the prices on the market. So our strategy for the next years is to reduce our raw material for export and to increase our turnover by export the finished products. I mean oil, wholemeal flour, flakes, and so on, because this is additional value for our products. And we want to increase the culture of consumption here in Moldova of organic products and for our citizens as well. So in this way, Portugal will be a good market for us as well to sell our products, final products to Portugal. So our colleagues had a very good and comprehensive presentation why Moldova is a good country to invest. First of all, I want to say that business development, Moldova is recognized for implementing important reforms now to improve our business climate, trade agreements as well. Moldova have signed a lot of memorandums and recognized for implementing with a lot of memorandums with different countries to facilitate the export of products. Workforce, we have very highlighting professionals, and as well is competitive labor cost. infrastructure and logistics. We are in the heart of Europe, so it's very easy to export in Europe through trucks or through our port, international port, and also we are close to Constanța port, and unfortunately now it's not possible, but we are close also to Odessa port and Reni port from Ukraine. Also, I want to mention that we have a great support from association. I mean, Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I mean, AmCham. I mean, MOVCA, for example, Moldovan Organic Value Chain, which support our business, which support our needs, and are very close for businesses here in Moldova, and for each stage they consulting and open the doors for us to grow and to grow fast. And I believe that Moldova now it's a right and perfect country to invest, because we are a young country and soon we will be a part of your family, I hope. So, and I hope that soon we'll have more company with foreign investment from Portugal. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lefter. Thank you very much, Mr. Gozun and Madam Catherine. That was wonderful inputs from you. So, dear participants, you have the one-stop shop, the financial offer, the advocacy, and nice success stories that all can confirm that Republic of Moldova is a wonderful country for your future investment destination. Now we'll go to the next part. We are waiting our keynote speakers. We prepared the scene for them. And in 1 minute, we will wait the two presidents. Already, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister is here. And we have 1 minute to prepare. Please don't leave your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, as our keynote speakers have arrived, I'm pleased to invite first speaker from the keynote speaker panel, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Economic Development and Digitalization, Mr. Dumitru Alaiba. Mr. Alaiba, please.
Good morning, Mr. President. Again, welcome to Moldova. Madam President, it's great to have you here. Dear colleagues, it's an honor to speak in front of you, and I will just very briefly sum up what Moldova can offer without going too much into Madam President's speech and into what was discussed until now at this event. To put it briefly, the way we see it is that, of course, Moldova, in the current situation, is facing serious drawbacks. It's facing serious weights on its economy, and that's of course because of the war in Ukraine and because of other regional circumstances, and that is why our vision is to make sure that the opportunities outweigh the risks, to make sure that, and we are aware that in order to achieve the same results, us in Moldova, we have to provide and to work 3 times as hard as anyone in the larger region, which is exactly what we are doing. We are also aware that, let's be honest, the problems in Moldova, the problems with the Moldovan economy did not start with the war. There were deep structural problems of our economy that need to be tackled. There is a need for deep structural reforms, which we are undertaking right now, some of them with immediate effect, some of them with medium to long-term effect, all of them at once. Just briefly, I will just sum up something that I probably call an investment pitch. What Moldova can offer right now and how it can look in only a few months given our agenda with immediate effect. So first of all, we are on a very ambitious and fast deregulation agenda. We are packaging these packages of legislation basically every 2 months together with the ministry, with the colleagues in the other ministries, in order to make sure that we give more space to the business. And that is because in crisis, first thing you do is remove regulations so that the business community, so that the entrepreneurs can have more space to develop and to grow into an economy that is more friendly to the entrepreneurs, which is why our agenda for deregulation and cutting bureaucracy, together with that, removing one by one risks of corruption and corrupt practices that were ingrained in the past, together with that improving the competitive environment, because bureaucracy is best for those who are already big enough, established enough, and connected enough to the current let's say apparatus. That is why we have a lot of expectations from this. But together with that, we are in a very accelerated pace of digitalizing everything that is only possible. And just to give you an example, only 3 months ago, we had 39% of public services for entrepreneurs that were in digital format available. Right now, and that's September, so we might be even more, but right now, the last data, the last information is that we already have 48%. This is a very fast pace. We are aiming to have 75% of public services for entrepreneurs digital by next year, and of course, we're going to full 100%. It is not an easy process. It involves multiple institutions, multiple stakeholders, not all of them champions, but we have it on track, and we will deliver by next year the 75%. On the taxation, the Republic of Moldova is among a few countries in Europe, among which Estonia, Latvia, and Georgia, that has 0% corporate income taxation for retained earnings for SMEs, that is companies of up to 250 employees, which is already large enough, and accelerated depreciation for big companies. We are looking for ways to expand this 0% corporate income taxation for big companies as well, and that is because we need to encourage reinvestment. We need to encourage and to accelerate the growth of our companies, which is why we have decided to leave, as of this year, actually it's already in place, we have decided to leave in the accounts of the companies 12% of their profit at the end of the year, and it's also an incentive for the companies to be more profitable, because there is simply no reason to, let's say, hide your revenues at the end of the year, which is again also a contribution to limiting and discouraging the shadow economy. But when it comes to the IT services and IT park, we have the special regime for IT companies of 7% flat tax rate, as some of you in the room know it already. It has proven very good for the industry, given the fact that only in 1 year, and that is the year 2022, the IT services, the share, first of all, of the IT in the economy has reached 5% of GDP, which is huge, and year-on-year growth was 45%, with 95% of IT services being exported mainly into the EU jurisdictions. So Moldovan IT companies, IT service industry is booming, and there is much more space to have it even more, even faster and even bigger growth, which is why we will expand the same 7% flat tax rate, and that I have to underline, it is not that is a single payment that you do, that is this 7% without social contribution, without medical contributions, and so on. Without too much modesty, but I don't think you will find something like that in the radius of 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers from Moldova. We will expand the same regime to shared services, to business process outsourcing, because we want to build on this competitive advantage. Now, of course, Moldova is a small country with a small labor market, which is, it's something that we cannot change in the short term by demographic policies and so on, which is why we have taken the decision to effectively remove work permits for EU citizens, and that is already legislation. Within 1 month, we will also expand this list to other countries, like from the North America, EFTA countries, but also the Balkans, Turkey, Ukraine, Caucasus, and going on to the east, in order to help our companies and our investors to reach much more talent and much more workforce than the local workforce can offer. Altogether, over 1 billion people will have the right to work legally in Moldova without any hassle and without any bureaucracy. Now, of course, the big opportunity is the EU candidate status, which we are hoping to expand into opening negotiations for EU accession, and that is the agenda for the economy here is that we will transpose as many and as fast as possible the rules of the games and the legislation and the regulations that investors in the EU are simply used to. So our main objective here is that when investors from a EU country, for example from Portugal, comes to Moldova, they have as little surprises as possible, because they're used to the same rules of the games as they have in their home country. We're working to improve the quality of our capital markets, and we work together with EBRD on a substantial reform in this sense. Hopefully, to have it by next year. We have huge access to foreign markets, and that is also to the east, but mainly to the west. We have free trade agreement with EU, with EFTA countries, with the UK, but also with countries to the east from us, with Turkey and so on, which means basically hassle-free access for most products made in Moldova to over 1 billion population in the neighboring countries. But and that is my conclusion. But I guess the main message that I always like to give is how Moldova can change, and which is what we are doing right now, and how Moldova can change very fast, because only 15 years ago Moldova was having its trade mainly with Russia and CIS. 70% of our trade was with Russia and the Commonwealth of Independent States. And it's only 15 years that our trade is over 70% with the West, with the EU, with EFTA, with Canada, with the United States of America. And this is a huge turnaround of the entire economy. This is a radical transformation, and this is a change that was embraced by each and every entrepreneur, by each and every investor in Moldova. And that is something that I don't think you will find in another country, a country that can make such a fast and radical turnaround in such a short period of time. I am confident, we are confident that we are facing a period of rapid change which will translate into high growth, and that means that every investor that will decide to join us for this ride will have to benefit for their own company and their own shareholders. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister. Now I will be honored to invite Her Excellency President of Republic of Moldova, Maia Sandu.
Dear Mr. President, distinguished guests from Portugal, ladies and gentlemen, I want to express my gratitude for your presence here today. It is very encouraging to see the representatives of the Portuguese companies gathered here in Chișinău, and I truly appreciate your participation and your interest in our country. Moldova and Portugal have developed a strong partnership over the last few years. My visit to Lisbon earlier this month opened a new chapter in our relations between Moldova and Portugal. We had fruitful discussions with President Rebelo de Sousa on enhancing our cooperation and focused on economic links in particular. Continuing this positive trajectory, I am now delighted to host Mr. President in Chișinău, further strengthening our bond and commitment to shared European values and mutual progress. And I'm honored to be addressing you today. Your presence underscores the significance of the partnership between our countries. Our economies are already interconnected. Moldovan wine industry, which makes up 3% of GDP, is growing its bottling capacity, and Portuguese corks are an essential part of it. Portugal, on the other side, is buying our sunflower oil, wires, and automotive cables, among other products. There is much more potential and clearly political will on both sides to develop it. You have heard today about the potential Moldova offers for Portuguese companies seeking to expand their European presence. Our country is at a critical moment. If you come in now, you will enjoy the advantage of early movers. We are pro-business and pro-reform country. We continue to enhance our economic stability, improve our infrastructure, and implement the reforms necessary to improve the investment climate. This includes reducing regulations, In the economic sphere, as the Minister has already mentioned, the digitalization of the public services and increasing the openness of the labor market. We are firmly on our trajectory to join you as a member of the European Union. We have a deep and comprehensive free trade area with the EU, part of our association agreement. It offers improved access and cooperation with the European market, enhancing stability and opportunities for potential investors. The agreement reduces the tariffs the European firms face when exporting to Moldova and makes customs procedures more efficient. We are committed to fully integrating Moldova into the European economic sphere. We are gradually bringing Moldovan laws, rules, and regulations, including standards, closer to those of the EU. The approximation of the legislation is making a difference. As an example, 60% of everything that we produce now goes to the EU market, and we're committed to grow this figure. We are also upgrading our roads and railways and building bridges to Romania and thereby to the European Union. We have already been granted candidate status for EU membership in June last year, and I truly hope that in the December Council in Brussels, a decision will be taken to begin negotiations for EU accession. It is a long process, but we work every day to fulfill our strategic objective. By investing in our country now, you can join our citizens' desire and become part of this journey. Our preparations for membership have begun to make a difference in Moldova, to the economy and to our outlook. We are reforming the justice system and we are fighting corruption. You can see our progress in the hard data. On corruption perception, measured by Transparency International, we improved by 24 places in the past 2 years, our best score in a decade. Last week's Rule of Law Index, published by the World Justice Project, shows Moldova as one of the bright spots, while the rule of law is declining globally. In other words, doing business in Moldova is getting easier. We have tangible opportunities for foreign investors. Our labor market is open and salaries are competitive compared to many other locations in Europe. Most of our citizens are multilingual, with Romanian as the mother tongue for most of us. Moldovans pick up other Latin languages quickly. We also speak English, French, Ukrainian, and Russian, and you will also find staff with German, Bulgarian, Turkish, and other language skills. The quality of education is improving, and we are undergoing concrete reforms in this sector. Our universities and technical education establishments are working to match the needs of the market. We know that building a modern digital state is vital if we want investors to come. We are preparing the ground for a better digital interaction between citizens, entrepreneurs, and the government. We are undertaking the regulation reform, removing bureaucratic barriers to business and simplifying rules and regulations. The state is taking a step back, giving companies the freedom and flexibility to develop the private sector. Our taxation system is being reformed to encourage investment. As an example, and the Minister talked about it, is the way we tax profit, which is distributed as dividends, not those for the company's investment. Our aim is to have a tax system which is clear and simple, taking into consideration investors' interests. The simple approach to taxation is one of the factors supporting our fast-expanding IT sector. In the recent years, it practically doubled its contribution to the economy, to the country's economy. You can find in Moldova many talents in this field. Portugal is a significant technological hub, and I'm sure your know-how and ambitions to expand will match our talent base. We took quick and concrete actions to increase our energy security, something we know is very important for business. We are no longer dependent on Russia for gas. Over the past year, we have been diversifying our supply sources and we're increasingly connected to the European energy network. We have huge investment opportunities available in the renewables sector. A legal framework is expected to be approved by the Parliament next week, and we will soon be advertising for tenders. Most of our renewables will be solar and wind, but some will be biomass, an obvious opportunity for Moldova as an agricultural country. Portugal is a country that generates 60% of its own electricity from renewables, and that represents a very good example for our country. We encourage you to explore our potential in this domain. Agriculture remains one of the key economic sectors in Moldova. We are interested in modernizing our agricultural sector with the goal of aligning it with the European standards and practices. We plan to make investments and adjust the legal framework in the field of organic agriculture. Promoting high value-added products is a priority for us. Come to Moldova and share your experience, but also come explore our produce. Moldova producers would be happy to supply to EU-based retailers. We see the potential and hope you do too, but we are not blind to the challenges we face. Russia's brutal, unprovoked invasion of Ukraine hasn't just brought terrible bloodshed to our neighbor, but made life more difficult for all of us. We are acutely aware of the concerns among investors over our proximity to Russia's war, but I want to emphasize that Moldova is not standing idly by. We are working on our security agenda and internal affairs, constantly cooperating with our European partners. Our aim is crystal clear: to safeguard Moldova, protect all our people, and protect our democracy, our economy, and our infrastructure. We are fully committed to assuring the safety of local and foreign investments. Through hard work and with help from friends, we have become more resilient than we were a year ago, and we have become much more agile at navigating difficulties. Inflation has fallen sharply, and recently the Moody's Credit Ratings Agency upgraded our outlook from negative to stable. Investors can be assured that Moldova is working hard to ensure a stable backdrop for business. As ever, a crisis doesn't just bring challenges, but also opportunities. By coming to Moldova, you will be also helping Ukraine. Our location provides access to larger regional markets. Moldova is the gateway into and out of Ukraine. The infrastructure of our airport, a river-to-sea port, roads and railways is instrumental in enhancing Ukraine's economic resilience. Our transport links are the solidarity lanes which enable Ukrainian grain exports to get to foreign markets and bring in much-needed imports to Ukraine. We will be investing in infrastructure to make it better, faster, safer, and more efficient. Moldova is proud to be supporting Ukraine, and we will stand by its people for as long as necessary. So, come to Moldova. We are no longer a small market. We share a language with Romania and have become a gateway to Ukraine. We are a crossroads serving a market of 60 million people. Come to help us build our economy. Be among the first to enjoy our economic progress. Come to invest in a country which aims to be part of the European Union by the end of this decade. Be an early mover, and I can promise that you will have a warm welcome by us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Now I would like to invite to the scene His Excellency, President of Portuguese Republic, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa.
Dear President, Madam Maya Sandu, dear friend, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my first word is just to thank you for this invitation and then for this so kind and so friendly reception. It has been really an unforgettable visit, and I wouldn't say as successful as yours to Portugal, but I would say that as useful, as effective as the one you've done just 27 years ago, 27 days ago. It was October the 3rd, October the 4th, that you've been received as the first head of state of Moldova in a visit to Portugal. And I'm here paying a visit, the first official visit of a Portuguese president to Moldova. That makes history. But we want to make history much more than this unique opportunity of meeting people, meeting officials, meeting state public powers, and getting to know your society. We already knew you on account of your community. Hardworking, honest, clever, lucid, making a very important contribution to our economy and to our society for 30 years. We already knew you politically and diplomatically on account of our relations 30 years ago. So now is the moment of getting to know and to work together with you on your economy, on your society. And quite the moment, because it is, in a way, an historical moment. You've spoken of the war in Ukraine. We stand by Ukraine as you do. We support Ukrainian people because we support values and principles that are fundamentals for international order, for the respect of international law, and for the possibility of building security and peace in Europe. But we know that you yourself are much more important than just being a neighbor of Ukraine or a neighbor of another friendly country, Romania, already member of the European Union, and that we support in their wish of joining Schengen Agreement. Moldova represents for us, for Portugal, for you, some of the entrepreneurs that already work here, know the society, know the economy, or work in the neighboring country, and so they are aware of what is changing in Moldova. Why this is a unique opportunity? Because you are building a strong democracy. And that's the key point. No sustainable development is possible without a strong democracy. Because you have stability. Because you have a majority in the parliament that corresponds to the leadership of the president. Because you're trying to reform your judicial system. Because you are fighting against corruption. Because you are deregulating, but at the same time accepting European rules as a follow-up of your free trade agreement with our world, our European world. You're doing it at the same time. In less than 15 years, you said, I would say, in less than 10 years, in less than 10 years. And we know it. We know it because Portugal, 50 years ago, came from a dictatorship into a democracy. And it took long. Portugal joined the European communities, and it took long. So we know how difficult it is, how important it is, and how important it is for those coming from abroad that were the first to believe in our democracy and to believe in our European integration. The pioneers, those at that time risked, but it was worthwhile risking. The same with us, Portuguese, and of course many others. But I speak on behalf of the Portuguese. When I received you 27 days ago, I had the intuition that this was a unique opportunity. First of all, because it's in the difficult moments that one sees who are the friends, who are the allies, who are those that believe on us, those that we can trust, and they trust us. Second, because I understood how complementary we are and could be. Knowing the Portuguese economy and the Portuguese society, the way we changed in less than 40 years, or even 30 years, in energy transition, in digital transition, in qualification, mostly in science, in our universities, in our research centers. We did change. How we changed our pattern of living, our democracy. We improved our institutions. And so, 27 days ago, we promised, first of all, that we would stand by you concerning European integration. We did it, we do it, we'll always do it. Second, because we promised 27 days ago to come here with the MOU on foreign investment, ready to show a roadmap for our investors. We did it. We promised we do on IT. Wherever and whenever you want us to work. We don't ask for a favor. We just offer our credit. We just want what we really deserve. Not just for being one of the first to come, but because we feel we could help. Just that, so simple. Is it risky? There is no life without risk. One of the things that impressed me in you, dear President, in your team, is that you are young. And I'm at ease because I'll be very soon 75. That means that I know the difference between 75 and less than it. And you represent a new wave, a change in your society, a change in your economy, a change in your politics, a change in your foreign policy, and quite a change. We also changed. We had an economy based, most of it, in the colonial empire. And all of a sudden, with decolonization, we decolonized our former colonies, and we decolonized our economy from that kind of economic model or system. We had it prepared. We had already an agreement with Europe before, in 72. But after the revolution of 74, we changed all our economy. The trade with Europe, investment coming from Europe, export going to Europe, interchanges, everything else. You're doing, in a way, the same. You had an economy based on a relationship with a neighbor, and now you'll be living with another economy connected with so many neighbors. Not just a power that is going down, but a power that is going up, called European Union. It's quite a difference. And when we joined the European Union, it was not so obvious. We would enlarge and be more powerful and expand the way we did it. But we did it. There we are. Different cultures, different languages, different countries. But as you could see on Ukraine, just a voice. United voice. That's a power. That's a power. So I'm very happy because in 27 days, we did whatever we had promised to do. And you did what you had promised to do. And perhaps very few would believe it. And I guess very few will understand today what we are doing. We are doing, you're doing. Let us wait for a couple of years. And then we'll see that this apparently strange idea of in the middle of a war, with the Middle East crisis, coming to Chisinau, as he went to Lisbon, it's just an account of something that so many would be just a dream, just a fiction, just an illusion, is reality, will be reality. That's the way we made Portugal, and that's the way you are refounding your country. That's enough. That's enough to be successful. Thank you very much.
Your Excellencies, Madam President, Mr. President, thank you very much for your emotional and inspiring speeches. We'll go to the next part, to the last part of the event, and thank you very much for attending today our beautiful event. Nobody believed us, you tell, but we managed to organize the beautiful forum today. The next step on our forum is signing of MOU between Investment and Trade Organization of Portugal and Invest Moldova Agency, and I will invite Ms. Pucarino and Mr. Iordaki to the scene to sign the memorandum.
Doamnelor și domnilor, se anunță ceremonia de semnare a memorandumului de înțelegere între Agenția de Investiții din Republica Moldova și Portugalia Global, Agenția de Comerț și Investiții. Pentru Agenția de Investiții din Republica Moldova semnează domnul Ion Iordache, director general adjunct. Pentru Portugalia Global, Agenția de Comerț și Investiții semnează doamna Cristina Pucarino, membra Comitetului Executiv. Ladies and gentlemen, it is being announced the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between Invest Moldova Agency and Portugal Global Trade and Investment Agency. For the Investment Moldova Agency, it is signed by Mr. Ion Iordache, Deputy Director General. For the Portugal Global Trade and Investment Agency, it is signed by Ms. Cristina Pucarino, Executive Board Member.
And now the last part, I invite Your Excellency to the final part to take a picture of the signing of the memorandum and the presidents. Yeah. Dear participants, that's all. Thank you very much. Have a nice day and welcome to the next part, the networking of the event.